Yes. All right. Easy. Stop.
Are you taking a
Right.
picture?
Yes, I was. We're gonna watch the American Alligator.
Oh, okay.
What is he looking at?
We got like a lot of the alligator trucks that are here. I've
Shh,
had
be quiet and listen.
10 years. And they were just housed at other parks and zoos. So we got this place.
Watch out, don't hang on the fence, because we're not hanging on fence.
Sometimes, in some cases, a zoo or a park was shutting down, or some of the crocodiles, sometimes if people don't do training,
Do that again. Take a picture of the alligator.
You'll have what a lot of people
There you go. I was
call
getting a picture.
So two of the Nile crocs that we have over there were that scenario where a place called them and said, hey, can you help us out? Find something in this place. And I'm like, just give me 2 days, and then I'll come there, and just it'll be cheaper and easier for you. Give me 2 days, and I'll get the groundwork laid, and then teach your people how to train them, and you're fine. And they're like, no, nobody's gonna get you. So I was like, fine, I'll take them. You know, we're giving them to me for free, whatever. So that kind of works out, but I mean, it is still very. They are still very underestimated, and a lot of people still think that they're just kind of cold, heartless, dumb eating machines. But I blame that on the fact that reptiles and fish and very few other things don't make facial expressions. It's one of the few things that, you know, so I mean, you can't look at them and say you look happy, sad, mad, whatever, you know, just by looking at them, unless you understand the body language, the vocalizations. I mean, you can look in their eyes and see, okay, he's in, you know, pain or whatever. So, but once you know that, then it makes sense. But if you don't know that, then it's easy to respond like stuff. So, before I do anything, it's important to note I'm a highly trained and underpaid professional. Law, safety, yada, yada, yada. Don't try this at home, you know, type of thing. So this is Trapper. Trapper's in here all by himself. So it makes it easy when you know, for me to just kind of bounce in and out and do little training demos or have a little fun with them in a more of a safe and controlled setting. All of the animals that we have here we do training with, so even like the Nile crocodiles, for example, there's 4 of them in there. But being a trainer is a lot like being a teacher to middle school age kids. You know, so they all know the rules and the do's and the don'ts and the boundaries, but does everybody follow the rules? No, I didn't. You know, so I mean, some of them are a little bit more rambunctious than others. And as a general rule, you know, you don't go into an enclosure, you know, trained or not, or whatever, you don't go in without backup, especially when it's a big herd. And since my backup just ran off to the store, you know, we focus mainly on this guy. So, not to say that, oh, okay, you know, I'm kind of breaking my own rule. You should still kind of have backup, but he's one animal, so we can stay focused on each other. I'm not going to have to worry about something else running up behind me. So that's kind of the method behind the madness. Trapper is pretty awesome. We brag that he's the biggest alligator in Volusia County, mainly because we don't have any competition, so we can claim that. He's nearly 13 feet long, though, so I mean, he is big, and hopefully he'll come out for us. I don't know if he wants to just stay in the pool all day today, but we'll see. The fact that he's motioning to me and telling me some things, so I think he wants to play a little bit too. I do have some treats for him, so we'll see about that. Aside from training, we do a lot of enrichment, and enrichment, you know, kind of goes along with the training, but it's fun stuff. It breaks up the monotony of the day. It can keep them active. It helps to, you know, create a happier, healthier environment for them. So you want to play? Do you want to? Oh, you do, don't you? Okay.
There.
So one of the things that we do, there's a couple different enrichment programs we have for him. They're pretty simple. It just gets him active and engaged. So one of which I can do really easily from here. I'm going to turn on the well water. There's a water line under the dock here, and he's going to pop up over there and try and kill the water, like a dog chasing a garden hose. So let's see it.
Oh my God.
Oh. Here he goes.
Look at that.
Get it! Get it! Get the water, get the water.
See?
Now it's coming out of the well at about maybe 70, 71 degrees, so that probably feels really good too. And in a second, I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to run over there and see if he wants to play tag.
Nice.
You almost got it. Here, go. Go get me. You want to chase? Want to play tag? Come here, come here, come here. Come on. Oh, here he comes. Don't hit the tree. Watch out for the tree. Now, he thinks he's being sneaky. His head's underwater, so he's stalking. Oh, that was real crazy, wasn't it? Oh my gosh. Come on, get me. Come on. What was that? Come on. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Come on.
Daddy missed that picture.
Take a picture.
Daddy's taking
Good
pictures.
boy. That's a good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy.
Nice.
Good boy. Come on. Come on. Just right there. That was pretty good. Good boy.
Oh.
Good boy.
That was great.
Good boy. Yeah, he's massive, isn't he?
Oh, he's beautiful.
I'm looking at him even when I'm looking at you. For one, I can kind of see out of the peripheral, but, you know, well, it's misleading right now because everybody's cameras are locked on him, but he put his camera down, so I know I'm safe because nothing crazy is happening. But as soon as he starts to lunge forward, his camera's going to come up real quick. Or you're going to grab her frantically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. You want to come up some more? Come on. Come on.
He thinks you got
So-
more food.
Come on. Come on. Keep coming a little forward. I got some more. Okay, we'll get some more. So one thing I always like to point out is, tell me he didn't look downright giddy playing with the water over there, for one. So, come on. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Up, up, up. Good boy. There you go. All right.
What are you feeding him?
We feed him a special zoo diet. It's called croc chow. It's freeze-dried dog poo. It's really good. Here, you want some poo? Just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. That's a killer joke with the kindergarten crowd, by the way. It looks like poo, but it is not poo. It does make for fun jokes, though. It's basically, you know, it's like dog food, but it's made for alligators. Actually, it's better than dog food. Where are you going? You know it's better than dog food. Come here. Come on, stay up here. Ready? Up, up, up. This stuff is just jammed. Good boy. It's just jam-packed full of vitamins, nutrients, all the stuff that they need to be happy and healthy and all that good stuff. So we use that as a staple. But we can come through and supplement with like chicken or red meat or something like that. Usually I don't come in and feed them chicken or anything like that unless there's like a special occasion or just, it's, you know, like walking into a, hey kids, pizza party, you know, that type of deal. So it's something extra special out of the ordinary. So like for veterinary related stuff, if I have to take blood or give them a shot to reinforce that, which that's pretty cool too, because I'll call them up and have them sit there, and then I can actually get behind them. Huh?
You do all your own.
Most of it, yeah. I mean, I can. So the vet that I work with, been working with him for about 20 years now. So I'm like an unofficial vet tech, basically. So I just, you know, if I have to do it, I can do it. But we've trained most of the animals, not all of them. He's really kind of the star pupil for this particular part of it, the veterinary stuff. Because traditionally, if he gets sick, you'd have to catch him to make it safe for the vet and everybody else involved if you're going to be taking shots and stuff, or taking blood. Because most of the time, the second you touch their tail, you know, they're spinning around or they're charging after you, like, get off of me. So we've worked with him enough and a couple of the other animals enough to where we can just have them come up in a specific spot, have them hold, get behind them, kind of scratch the tail, stick them with the needle, do the blood draw, and then just like what we like at a doctor's visit is the lollipop at the end. You know, so he knows that he's getting something special at the end of it. And that's usually what we'll save like chicken or something like that for. So aside from this diet, these biscuits, the advantage that we have compared to a lot of other parks and zoos is that our enclosures are natural ecosystems. So there's, come on, I know you said, I got it right here, come on. So there's a natural food supply already in here. You know, there's fish, frogs, birds, turtles, snakes, raccoons, anything else you can think of can get in here and possibly be
Dinner.
Dinner. There you go. So they have free reign of the snack cabinet is kind of how I like to look at it. You gonna come back up? Come on. Come forward. Come on. Come on. Oh, a little bit more. There you go. All right. That's better. I'm not gonna keep feeding you right there in the water. You gotta come out. You know it.
How much
But
do you
these-
feed them a day? Is there
It's
a
not
weight?
so much per day. Like with him, if I do a couple of these, like when we're open, you know, I'll do a lot of demos in here with him, so it's going to be just a few handfuls that I'll go through per day with him. The good news about this is it metabolizes really fast, so it's almost impossible to overfeed them with this, but they are getting a ton of nutrients and stuff from this, so you don't want to go overboard on it anyway. With reptiles, it's like the easiest food bill ever. Well, sort of. You know, like if it were all mammals, I mean, you're talking, you know, like big cats and stuff, you're talking 30, 40 pounds a day or something insane like that, and that gets like crazy expensive. But these guys, they utilize the fuel really well, so you can have, let's say, maybe that whole bucket right there could be for the Niles for a week. I mean, that's not how we mapped it out, but I'm just saying for the sake of argument. So you'll go through a certain amount, but then when winter rolls around, he's not going to eat until spring again. So, like, me doing this with him, I'm, like, having as much fun as I can right now, because the second that first cold front hits, this guy every year, like clockwork, just goes off food at that first cold front, and he will not eat again until spring. So that's like 3 or 4 months with no food. So a lot of people are like, wow, that's a really cheap food bill. Sure, but then the electric bill goes through the roof because you're heating everything. So your cost pretty much stays the same all year round, and it's, you know. Right, buddy?
Wait, I want to take a picture.
Yeah.
Up. All right, so we just had some people drive up, so I'm going to have to run back up to the front real quick. Before I do that, though, does anybody know what the green stuff is? Algae. It is not algae, but that is the #1 incorrect answer.
Duckweed.
Oh.
Yes, it's duckweed. All right, so look, I grabbed some of it.
That's edible stuff.
I guess it's edible. It probably is.
Yeah,
But look, that's actually 2 whole plants right there. You see those little leaves?
It's actually
I'm holding
considered
over it.
a.
It's just like a hair. But
One of the
it's a really
superfoods.
good natural water filter. So it's cleaning the water. So algae would be gross and embarrassing and probably stink to high heaven. But just beneath the little blanket that's sitting on the water there, it's crystal clear all the way to the bottom. And it's about 8 to 10 feet deep in the pond.
Heads up.
So the way it gets from pond to pond is, you know, wading birds usually. So you see how it's not sticky. It's just wet. So when the birds step in the water to hunt the frogs and the fish, it sticks to their legs. They go to another pond, whoosh, it comes off, and then
Here he comes.
once we get the budgets, you know, squared away and start making more signs for the animals and everything else, we want to make signs for the plants and stuff too. Yeah. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. I want to, or not in here, but for the duckweed, I want to stick a flagpole in one of the ponds and then get a skeleton and dress him up like a golfer and have him hanging onto the pole. And then the sign will say, "Don't mistake duckweed for a putting green."
That's funny.
But, all right, so I'm going to hop out of here. I'm going to head up front, but I will be around. So if you guys have any other questions, I will be happy to make things up and hope you don't know the difference.
You want to hold a gator?
No.
No. Come on.
Yep. You don't either.
You're not gonna hold it.
Princess children.
Can you hold it?
Huh?
Can you hold it?
Daddy wants to see you hold it so I can get a picture with it.
I'll take a picture.
No, he did. He went over the alligator.
Yeah, that was a big alligator.
Very tame alligator.
Yeah, it's a pet. That's Trapper, American Alligator.
Daddy wants to see you hold it.
See you later, Trapper. I don't know, the way she's growing, she'll be... Oh, look, they're mating. These two over here are getting it on, Daddy. Or they're trying.
Well, they're not coming up this way.
There are
babies.
turtles in there. You can see those?
What?
He's taking a ride.
Yeah, he's hitching a ride.
Tired.
I
Look
didn't
at
help.
him. Yeah, pick you up. Yeah. Oh, you missed it. He fell off.
What?
He fell off.
Smart.
He fell off.
Yeah.
The ride.
No.
They're looking for food now.
I need down.
Look at me.
I need down.
Just slide backwards.
Just drop down.
You're 6 inches off the ground, Phoenix.
Drop down, buddy.
You can do it.
Down.
Oh, come on. You can do it. There you go.
I'll probably use it.
You're gonna be patient.
Look at that guy. Look how tall he is.
Can you take a picture?
He's standing up like a pig. Look at that. That's great.
I think so. Stand
I've
up.
never seen a turtle hold themselves up that high. I mean, peekaboo gets up high, but darn, that's crazy. Oh. Down. Back to the ground. Let's see who's in here. This big guy. Look at you. Oh my goodness, you're gorgeous. You are gorgeous. Oh, I can't wait till Boo's as big as you are. I wouldn't be able to pick her up then though. Holy smokes. Wow, he's so pretty. Come here, let's pet. Let's pet. Come here, let's pet.
I can't do it if there's a wall.
Oh my goodness. So friendly. Huge. Goodness gracious.
This is a pole. I happen to get rid of this pole. These two poles. What happens if you get rid of all of these poles?
Long life ahead of you still, buddy.
Yeah, he's still a baby really.
What?
Probably only 15, 20 years.
For me to get
No,
bigger?
that tortoise.
Oh.
Don't fall in there.
Do you see behind me?
I do. I see a tortoise behind you.
What else? So,
Water. Don't fall in. Let's
Don't-
see who's over here. Oh, these are the redfoots. With the one still sticking his butt out the door. Ha ha.
I got
Ew.
some food for him.
Ew. Dad. That looks nice. Let me try. Let me try.
Yeah, put it over here. These guys will come on up front.
Anybody?
Over to that one, that big one over there might get some. Yeah,
Yeah, these guys over here, they're
let's come for it.
pretty big and hungry looking.
There we go, those pieces in. No, this one, these are big guys.
Banana trees. Those are poor banana trees.
Whatever you want to hang out in the sun all day. You want some over here?
They don't want to eat it.
No more, leave it, leave it.
Yeah, don't pull them
Vince,
off.
leave it. I just said leave it. Leave it. I just said leave it. What the fuck? You're in trouble, man.
Look at that one's for shell.
Yeah. Not happening with that one. Looks like it's getting alright though.